We got a jam-packed day for you, starting on day 3, and this is going to be continuing some of the work that we were doing yesterday where we created our Upwork profile. Today, we're going to build an application template, which will, in conjunction with your profile, allow you to get very high-ticket jobs very quickly. We've had people literally send an application and then get a job within 2 hours before. There's no reason why you can't be one of those people. So we're just going to try and maximize the quality of every individual application today. And I'm basically going to show you, just like I did yesterday, how to game the application system. So now that you have your Upwork profile, the most important thing to do is develop a template. This will save you many hours applying to jobs, and it's also going to allow you to focus your time on where it makes the most sense. Our approach is very different from the average Upwork approach. We're not going to be spamming everybody with the same low effort application. Instead, we're actually going to hyper customize every individual application. But the way we're going to do it is really, really interesting. We're going to record a video. And this video is actually going to do 3 things for us. It's the highest ROI. Let me actually read this thing. It's the highest ROI method I've found to apply to jobs in Upwork. And they're the reason why I've been able to make so much money using the platform. The reason why it works is because it kills 4 birds. When I say 4, I mean 3, obviously. You have to fix that puppy in post. But it kills 3 birds with 1 stone. The first is that it eliminates the time that you spend writing shit, because when you write shit, specifically CVs, it's almost completely pointless. It does not showcase the value of automation. I'll show you what CVs look like in a second. The second is it allows you to visually show the automations that you built. And because a lot of the time these no-code platforms are drag and drop builders, sort of like on big white backgrounds or whatever, the value of your automation becomes super simple. It's like you're speaking directly to them and you're showing them exactly, the magic behind the scenes. And the third, and this is really the more important part, is that it forces you as a beginner to become comfortable talking about common industry problems and about talking about your achievements in the context of automations. There isn't a single thing that I have discovered as of yet that allows you to progress as quickly in the realm of sales. So this is how we're going to help build some killer sales skills without even talking to real human beings, so that when it comes time to talk to these real human beings, you'll be so goddamn comfortable talking about yourself, your accomplishments, your achievements, and your automations that it'll just be like second nature to you. This is where we're going to get a lot of the reps in. And so because we're doing these 3 things simultaneously, definitely not the 4 things, because we're doing the 3 things, this makes it the best return on time that you can spend on Upwork. And it's going to pay dividends for the entire life of not only this business, but for future businesses too. Okay, so let's actually deconstruct what an Upwork job posting looks like, because, if we want to do this right, we sort of have to start from first principles, and then we also sort of have to reverse engineer what a good proposal looks like. The way that everything works on Upwork is you apply usually via submitting a CV. Now, I'm going to show you a quick example of what this looks like, make this very interactive. I'm on Upwork over here, and I've just typed in the term automation into my search bar. So I literally just went over here, and then I typed automation. Now I have a bunch of potential automation jobs. I like this one here. It's $15 to $55 an hour. The client has spent $8,000 already. It's going to take between 1 to 3 months, average 3 hours a week. This looks pretty good to me. Presumably, I've read all of this stuff. It's some real estate job scraping thing. I'm going to click apply now, and we're actually going to jump into the job and see what we need to supply. So the first thing is I'm going to apply with my marketing automation profile, just as I happen to have more than one profile on Upwork. You're probably not going to have to do this if you just created your profile yesterday. It'll show you how many connects. This is a pretty pricey one. This one's going to take, like $2.50, something like that. It'll show you how many connects you'll have remaining after you apply to it. We'll get into all this stuff afterwards. But basically, here's the information that you need to provide. Right? This is all information the customer provides. But here's what you need to provide to this guy or girl in order to get the job that you're looking for. The first thing is you have to set your rate. And so this rate will just default to whatever your profile rate is. Now, because this person's is $55, if you really did want to apply and be smart about this, you shouldn't bid $117.63. You're way out of this person's budget range. Realistically, you should budget somewhere below his rate, and you should take into account the non-round number thing that I've talked about before. You can get over this rate after your first job, but there's nothing wrong with bidding lower than your quote-unquote profile rate. Remember, you just sort of pull this out of your ass anyway. After that, they will take 10% off the top. That's just how Upwork works. So if you do the hourly thing, and I'm not saying that you should work hourly, nor am I saying that you will need to work hourly. All we're doing is just getting them to respond to our proposal right now. If you do work hourly, Upwork will take $5.44 of that, meaning that you'll receive this much money after all is said and done, which is pretty cool. And what you could do is you could adjust this here if you wanted to. Maybe I want this much money per hour. Well, I can actually do the math, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to pretend it's $53.48. And then you can schedule a rate increase. I always say never for this. And then really the point here of what I'm getting at is this cover letter, this CV. And this section here is basically where you have to sell yourself. Now, people take 1,000,001 different approaches to the CV section. Some people make theirs super crazy, mega long. Actually, most people make theirs super crazy, mega long, filled with all of these examples of work they've done and links and hell, sometimes people even attach PDFs, and there's like 30 freaking websites on every CV. That, in my experience, doesn't work. So we're going to take a fundamentally different approach. We're going to make it short, and then we're just going to put a video first and say, hey, I just solved your problem over this video. I just recorded it a second ago, and I want you to take a look at it. And this is what works super well. It pattern interrupts. It breaks most people's expectations of this. And then when they actually click through and they watch it, they're like, holy shit, that guy made all this stuff for me. The likelihood of you getting responses is much, much higher. So let me show you a quick example of what this looks like. We're going to leave a spot open for you to paste your video. And I usually do this with Loom. Loom's just a video recording platform, but you're free to use whatever platform you want. Here's an example of an application that I actually sent a lot. Hi, I'm confident that I'm the best fit for this. Just recorded a 2-minute video for you on how I do it with a link. I've scaled multiple businesses to 7 figures using automation, and I'm very familiar with both code and no code. A little bit about me. I'm an AI developer with 7 years of process automation experience. I run one of the most popular automation channels on YouTube. If you'd like specific examples of systems I've built, just shout. This is pretty short. This is a quick example of the application that I have. This is just my little day 3 Google Doc over here. If you want to look at applications that other people have, just in terms of length, it's usually something like this. So right off the top, yours is going to look a lot less intimidating. Yours is going to look a lot shorter. I mean, like, look, this is, I don't know, 6-7 lines or something. And I mean, how many lines is this, right? Like 32. And the fact that you're going to have a little video link here is also going to be intriguing. The fact that you're going to say, hey, I just recorded this for you a second ago. I'm really confident I'm the right fit for this. Is going to make people be like, oh, maybe this person is really confident they're the right fit. Let me check it out. The only goal is to get them to respond to us. That's number one. Here's another one. Hello, I'm the right fit for this. I believe that so strongly I recorded a 5-minute video for you building your system for free. Then link. I used to build automations for big name. Excuse me. Would be happy to bring some of that expertise to your project. A little bit about me, AI developer, same sort of thing. Google me if you're skeptical. I mean, I'm doing this for myself because if you Google me, you end up being like, wow, this person's huge. But maybe in your case, you wouldn't want to use that term. So I'm sure you guys can tell, but there's a pattern to these, right? You lead with confidence very quickly. You mention your video, and then you load the rest with social proof. You make social proof just the mainstay of the copy and paste CV. Here's what I recommend. I recommend, you have this Google Doc right over here. I recommend that you guys can just copy this if you want to, okay? Paste both of these in there. And then, if I call this my Upwork CV template, maybe you have multiple, I don't know. For different job types or whatever. Totally up to you, however you want to do it. But here's what I recommend. I recommend you take this and then you just you change it. So, obviously if everybody here copies and pastes this exact same template, it's not going to work, right? So don't copy and paste the same template, because if everybody's using it, people will just be like, okay, well, it's just the same shit over and over and over again. But you can capture the theme of the template and then you can make some changes. So I just finished reading your request, and I'm definitely the man for the job. Here's a 4-min video I just recorded where I actually build out a part of it, and then you add your link, right? The point I'm making is go through this, make some edits, and put it in your own tone of voice, right? Add your own flair to it. And then once you're done with this, you can leave it in this Google Doc if you want. Or what I personally would do in your shoes is I would write these into, like, if you're on Mac OS, you could use this function called text replacements. Text replacements are awesome. I'll actually pull them up over here. They're crazy. They're super valuable. Let me just make this all a lot simpler for everybody. So what you can do is you could have like a little text snippet. So let me actually see. Let me copy this right here. Okay, and then let's go back here. You can have a little text snippet like, I don't know, app. And then you could literally just paste your whole application every single time you get that little text. If that doesn't make any sense, then I don't blame you. But now look, app. Oh, sorry. Oh, I don't know why that didn't work. Let me just double check that I actually added this text replacement correctly. Oh, it's because I have 2 of them. Let's do Upwork app. Let's do that. Okay. So now hypothetically, let's say I'm responding to this guy's job. If I go Upwork, I just changed it to this little semicolon 17. So as you can see, all I really need to do to make this work is just so semicolon 17 over and over again. It ends up being really simple, and then I just replace this with whatever my Loom link is. It'll take me like 1 second to do. If you are on a Windows, which I know a lot of people are, then you can use this service. It's called Auto Hotkey over here. You have to like download it onto your computer and stuff like that, but it's the exact same thing. You literally just like press 2 buttons at the same time. You make your own hotkey, and then you just paste whatever snippet of text that you want, which makes it really easy. If you don't want to do any of that, you can also just copy and paste it from a different tab. So this is me in my Google Doc tab. I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to paste it in. All of that stuff works. I definitely prefer to make it as easy as possible for myself. So that's how the CV works. The second thing I want to talk about is the video. Now we have to fill that little spot that says link with a video. And this is where your time to shine comes in. This is personally the highest ROI approach that I've found on Upwork to date. My recommended structure is as follows. The first thing you should do is introduce yourself. You should say, hey, how's it going? My name's Nick. I'm a process automation engineer, and I just came across your post looking for a make.com specialist. Just memorize a brief 10-second introduction. Use that every time. Then say something about your case studies. Say, I thought I'd blow this out of the park for you. For context, I ran a marketing company that I scaled to $92,000 a month last year using make.com and automation. And I wanted to show you how I did it. The next thing is after you give them a quick little screen share, right? Go on 1secondcopy.com. This is personally what I do. Give it a quick scroll, talk about how awesome it is and whatnot. I then go and I say, based on your particular job, it looks like you want to scrape some property listings like price, location, other relevant data points. Your ability to do this is really going to depend on what platform it is. But I'm just going to use an example platform here, like, Redfin. And I'll show you personally what I would do. My specific case, I've literally built Redfin scrapers before, right? So I know exactly how this platform works. I can just say, assuming it was a platform like Redfin, what we're really looking for is this network tab. Every time that we refresh the page, you're going to see down here that there are a bunch of requests that are going through. These requests actually are storing all of the listing info. And so you see how there's a URL over here. If we call this URL using make.com instead of using this thing, instead of using our browser, we can actually pull that same info. And so what I personally would do is I go into make.com, I do XYZ, I put this stuff together. You can even open up the scenario builder and build it for them if you want to. Well, that's probably going to be more than 5 minutes, but I've done that before. And just be hyper specific. Spend a few minutes telling them exactly what you would do, assuming you get the job. And then all you need to do is before you get off of this video, you just need to tell them about how you'd like to speak with them and tell them what your goal is in working together. I will always say something like this. I hope you enjoyed the video. My goal is to get you on a long-term retainer because that aligns our incentives and it lets me learn more about your business. So my goal is to just totally blow this out of the park for you, make you fall in love with my systems. If you want to chat, just send me a message back with a few times you're available. We'll make it work. I'm available as soon as 2 hours from now or something like that. This does double duty because one, it frames the next step. It tells them exactly what you want to do, which is just shoot you a message back on Upwork. And second, it gives them a call to action. And it says like, hey, man, I'm looking for a long-term relationship here. You're setting the stage, you're setting the boundaries. You're basically just doing all the heavy lifting right up front. Now, this sounds sort of meaningless, right? So what I've done is I've actually recorded a bunch of videos for clients. I've actually just taken this from my old recordings, the ones that I used to do for people back before I had a shitty microphone and back when things were a little bit different. So bear with it. But just open up all of these and just watch them and just see how I sell myself, how I sell my services. You'll see that I have a couple of social proof points. I have my 1 second copy, which I scaled to $92,000 a month back in March of 2023. March of 2023. I talk about my YouTube channel, how I have like 20,000 subscribers talking about make.com. I talk about a couple of other things as well. But just take a look at how I weave that in there and then just use that as a model for how you can weave that stuff in there as well. Look at how I make the pitch, how I make the ask at the end of the video, how I talk about how, just send me over a message. I'm happy to book a call as soon as 2 hours from now. Go through this until you've essentially pattern recognized what makes a good Upwork video. And you'll find that on average, you tend to be between like 2 minutes all the way up to maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes or so. On average, it's probably like 3.5. Okay, now once you've done this, we need to learn a little bit about connects. As you probably know by now, in order to submit a job application, you need connects, right? When I open this, as you see, it says 19 connects. Now, connects are Upwork's internal currency. And they use this internal currency in order to apply to jobs. You can use them to boost your profile, like a pay-per-click ad. You can use them to advertise. You can use them to bid. You can use them to do a bunch of cool stuff, which I'll talk about. On average, Connects cost about 15 cents each. Sometimes there are discounts or promotions available where they make them a lot cheaper temporarily, and you can actually stock up on a bunch. But for the most part, you're going to pay about 15 cents each, I want to say. Now, your average job will cost between 10 to 15 Connects, which comes out to $1.50 to $2 if you buy them all at that median price. Since we're applying to many jobs, this can add up. And this is exactly why my profile approach works well, because the second that somebody watches, like you put so much time and effort in every individual application, you've traded a little bit of your money for time, basically, that if somebody watches your video, they're basically 100% sold on you. And that dollar that you spent to apply to the job becomes utterly meaningless because they're going to choose to work with you. The only thing you have to do now is just make sure that they click on that frickin' link. That's the only thing. So that's how Connects work. In this case, this job's 19, which is like over $2.50 or so. This is definitely on the high end. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about bidding. Now, in addition to the money you spend applying to jobs, you can spend additional funds doing what's called bidding. This is exactly what bidding sounds like. It's an auction. What you can do is, if you want to maximize the probability that a customer or client will see your job application, you can promote it to the top using this bid feature. And you can specifically promote it to be in the top 4 places. Now, the average Upwork job gets 30 applications or something like that. And so if you don't bid, typically it becomes quite difficult to dig your application out of the pile. We can try and optimize it as much as we want with the profile picture and the rate and everything like that, but it still ends up being quite difficult. The thing about bidding, though, is that bidding only charges you money if the person actually clicks on your profile. So here's the hack. We bid on every single job because it improves the probability that somebody clicks on our profile. Once they clicked on our profile and they watch the video, well, then they're basically sold because we put a ton of additional time and effort relative to all the other freelancers by actually customizing your application. This is the best of both worlds, because if you have somebody that watches your video and says, wow, this person's perfect for my job, the $2 that you spent on bidding or something, that's not going to matter. You do 5, 10 of these applications a day. If you can bid your application to the top of the pile, and hell, even 2 out of the 10 people get back to you on a daily basis, you are going to have a very easy time on Upwork. And you're going to see just how quickly and easily you can go from having 0 business connections, 0 business contacts, 0 prospects, to basically having your whole feed overwhelmed with business and volume. So I highly recommend that you bid on everything, because the average client receives a few dozen applications. If you apply with a customized application that includes a video and the client views your profile, you are almost guaranteed a message back. Whereas if for whatever reason they don't click on your profile or view your profile, well, you're just going to get that money refunded anyway. It's the game theoretic move, especially given the approach that we're taking, which is front loading the value. Now, mathematically, a single closed deal can be anywhere from like $500 to $5,000 of customer lifetime value. I mean, there are many examples of prospects that I've gotten from Upwork who have paid me over $50,000 over the course of a year. Like, that is a ton of money. I might have spent $20 acquiring that customer in Upwork Connects and fees, but would you spend $20 to make $50,000? I would, and I have, and I constantly do. So, strategically, I'd bid on basically every job you can. The benefit to Upwork is usually, a lot of other platforms, you have to spend a lot of money up front. Cold email, for instance, one of the software platforms we looked at just the other day was Smartlead. Smartlead's like 30 something bucks a month, right? It's not $1 a day. It's $30 a month. You have to spend all $30 a month up front. With Upwork, you don't have to do that. You could spend $1 on every application. And so it's not like a big chunk. The way you can do is you can spend those dollars consecutively, but then maybe on the third or the fourth dollar you spend, well, now you have an actual prospect or customer interface. So my point is, it distributes how much money is outgoing from your pocket. Assuming that you have some sort of financial stability or something like that. It's typically a much better move. Okay, so there are some exceptions to my strategy of bidding all the time. There are going to be some instances where, if we go back to this job, we set a bid. Some asshole like me is going to bid 100 connects, which is $7 or something. Now, if somebody bids a stupid amount of money like this, then just don't try and outbid them. Your goal is no longer to be first. Your goal is, you could be second, third, or fourth. That's okay. If the difference between first and second is literally 70 connects or $5, I just about sent that thing. Thank goodness I didn't. Otherwise, it'd be out a whole $7. Well, actually, plus the application fee, $9. all you really need to do in these instances is just try and be in the top 4. So let's say it's 100, it's 90, it's 80, and then it's 20. Bid 25. That way you're still somewhere in the top 4, and then you also save a fair amount of money. Okay, some additional points I'm going to make. As mentioned yesterday, Upwork is always testing a variety of features. These features aren't only for profiles. A lot of the time, they'll change how applications look and function. So if Upwork unveils a new feature, and I'm not going to cover all of them because they're constantly doing this. They've probably done one since the time I recorded this video and published this program. Use it. Just do whatever it takes to basically improve the quality of your application. The reason why is because if you use the new profile features and new application features they put out, they'll weight it a little bit higher. And so you just get a big lift that most other people don't. And because we're putting a customized application, it is our imperative to try to recoup as much value as humanly possible by increasing the probability that our application gets seen. Okay, the last little tip I'm going to make, last little hack is keep Upwork open. So I recommend turning on this button called Online for Messages. Just go to the top right-hand corner here and click this little button that says Online for Messages. This will make a little green circle appear when people search you up. The best way to close an opportunity quickly is to respond to somebody within 5 minutes because they want their problem solved right then. So I would always just have a tab open with Upwork in it and your little available online for messages button. I've had many instances where I will literally apply to a job. The prospect will see within 15 minutes and they'll get on a call within the hour. Actually, probably I think my second or something automation job that I ever got on Upwork, I got within 15 minutes. It was somebody looking to do some Instagram scraping, I think, or something like that. No, they were doing Instagram outreach, and they were organizing all of their stuff into some really shitty Google Sheet. And they had a team that would manually go through and try and customize each one of these messages. So my job was to do this fully automatically using AI. So AI went in and customized the messages instead of the people. And I remember seeing that job post. It was probably 8 p.m. And I applied to it. And I got a message back within 5 minutes. And then the message was literally hey, man, I really want to deal with this now. Are you online? And I was like, yeah, I'm online right now. Here's a link. This is back when you could send video meeting links directly in the Upwork chat. Now you have to use their own messaging feature in order to send a calendar booking, but that's okay. You can still do that fine. But anyway, I sent them a link and then we were on a call within a few minutes. And I ended up closing that job. And I think that job paid me over $2,000. And that was within literally a few minutes. I mean, you can do this. There's nothing stopping you from being able to, especially if you front load these applications with as much value as my approach is. So I'm going to leave it at that. But make some application templates. Make one at least. You can have a couple different ones, maybe for slightly different sub-services that you're doing or whatever. Then make sure you watch all of these videos, because the next task today is we're going to take this and we're actually going to dry run 5 video applications for ourselves. And then after you're done all this, tomorrow you're actually going to be sending 10 applications, which is going to be pretty huge. So looking forward to it. I will see y'all in the next task. We're going to dry run these apps. Best of luck.